Hey, oh, hey. Welcome back. Episode 7 already. Damn, time been
Yeah,
flying.
for sure.
So we're back. And again, like I always open up, thanks for the feedback. Thanks for, following us, engaging, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. As you can see today, we have matching hoodies on. So we ordered these hoodies based on the topic that we're going to talk about today. And the topic that we chose today to talk about is breaking generational curses.
Yeah.
So, that's another touchy topic um, because it happens and it's in the our black community pretty much. So the generational curses it's there. So we need to figure out how do we break it and move forward so that way we create our own safe space within our own family. Um,
I agree.
so pretty much inside the hoodie it says breaking generational curse, and then it says constant, unsatisfactory results in similar experiences. So I'm really just pretty much gonna jump in today and talk about first of all how you feeling.
And I feel great,
All right.
for sure. How
Yes,
about you?
I'm definitely doing good.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, you know, we had like I said last topic, life in,
Yeah,
a couple of things going on, but the holidays are here. Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's a lot to be grateful for nowadays.
yeah, man.
All this stuff going on. So I'm just grateful to be able to be here today to even talk about breaking generational curses and being alive and healthy because that's another thing, health. So yeah, I'm gonna just jump right in and
Yeah.
ask you, like breaking generational curse.
Hmm.
Why is this topic so touchy in our community?
Um, I think one thing, first of all, you got to understand that what is a generational curse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I understand the word and it's like a buzzword, I personally don't tend to use the word curse because
Mm-hmm.
when you say the word curse, it makes it feel like it's like a spell or some mythical situation that's happening that you can't overcome or you can't break. These are just basically sins that are passed down from generation to generation. This is sinful behavior.
Mm,
um Consequences is more of an appropriate word in my opinion.
okay.
So basically, and it's not by coincidence, this stuff not just happening. So again, if you're like in your fourth or fifth generation, you may be thinking, why me? Why is my life going this way? Or what is happening to me? This is not a consequence. One thing you have to understand is that somewhere along that line, somewhere along that lineage, that bloodline, there was an agreement, right?
Mm,
Someone came into an agreement with that sinful behavior, and that has been passed down generation after generation, hence the name. Um, so that's basically what we're dealing with here. And unfortunately, the reason why it's so hard to break is because not only do we pass down the behavior, we also pass down the coping mechanism on how
mm,
we're conditioned and we're taught how to hide it, how to suppress it, how to not speak about it. You know what I mean?
mm.
Um, you just reference the holidays. So this coming Thursday, you're gonna have a bunch of families together at the table, presumably with some secrets and
So,
some sins, some sinful behaviors and secrets that have gone unaddressed for generation after generation. At some point, when that behavior came to fruition,
mhm.
it was a captive thought process. It was captivity. That thought process, that sin, held the individuals captive. Now, after you move down the line, generation after generation, captivity is now culture. You see
Mm.
how that is?
Mm-hmm.
So now our behavior is looked at as our culture. This is how we always been.
Mm.
This is how we've been this way forever. You're not really realizing that this sin has been going on years and years and years. And unfortunately for us, because we are so great at hiding and coping and lying to ourselves, the more removed we are from that original sin,
Mm-hmm.
the more mechanisms and the more facades and things that arrive that help us. So now we have, social media, and we have AI, and we have pictures of ourselves that's not us, and telling us how we should see ourselves and what we should be, how we should look and feel. So go
Like
ahead.
usually, I've been doing really good with interrupting you,
Sure.
but something just came to
Hmm.
me. So I was gonna say to you, like, what is an example of a family
Hmm.
that tends to, or will even use that expression, like, I'm just gonna break the generational curse. I'm not gonna live like this anymore.
Yeah.
What are some examples that our culture with generational curse, like, what do they have? Like, what does that look like?
In terms of breaking it.
In terms of, no, what does the curse look like? It's
Oh,
in terms of the household. You've been through it with your family.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure
absolutely.
that you guys have
Yeah.
said that. Whatever I used it in my family.
Yeah.
I can give an example of
Hmm.
my family.
Hmm.
Not to give out too much info, but
Hmm.
like in my family, I come from a family of that been in the streets in
Hmm.
terms of dealing drugs.
Right.
So I know as a kid what I saw growing up,
Hmm.
and then when I was able to understand it, I looked at it like, oh no, I'm gonna break that curse. I
Right.
don't care if the uncles and the aunts and the grandmothers did it. I know I don't want that for my family.
Right.
So that's something that was always in my mind with one of the things that my family curse, whatever you want to say. That
Right.
back then they would say surviving skills.
Right.
That's how they survived
Hmm.
back then. So whatever you want to call it, but like I remember that growing up. So
Yeah.
that was like something that happened in my family. But what would you say, like something in your family?
It varies.
Of course,
It,
like we all have a bunch of stuff. That's why I said that thing right there just
right.
popped up because it was so strong in my family.
Yeah.
So just give us something that you know is like.
Well, again, it could be in a form of substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I've had those individuals in my family.
Yeah.
It can be, there's this dishonesty.
Mm-hmm.
There's anger.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty much like we have it in all our families.
yeah. Our diet.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't tend to tie those in. The diet, the way we eat.
So what is one of your curses that you had in your family that you felt like when you was able to create your own family, something that you said, I'm breaking that curse. I don't even want to have no parts of that in my adulthood.
I don't necessarily feel like my family my nuclear family, I don't think what I do is teach my children how to speak truth to power, because that's how you break the curse.
Okay.
Right? There's again, just to touch on, from the Bible perspective, there's a scripture that says, any tongue that rises against you, you shall condemn.
Yes.
Right? So that's really, you have to speak truth to power. That's how you break the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it, acknowledge it,
Mm-hmm. So why do so many families, again in our culture, why is it so shameful to talk about
I'll tell you why.
Some people take it to the grave.
Well, one of the reasons why is we don't understand that across the diaspora, a lot of us are going through the same thing.
Yes.
We think it's a unique situation. That's part of that coping mechanism.
Even with social media, even with all these groups, even with all this stuff out right now, that people see that a lot of people are dealing with that, you feel as though they still look at that like it's only me?
Of course. But maybe they can identify with someone in California, but that's different than their friend group, their homegirl, their aunt, or whomever.
Okay.
And those people are breaking those sins by speaking.
Shout out to the people who do talk about it. Shout out to the people who don't sweep it underneath the rug. Go to therapy. Have gone to therapy, like a therapist about it. shout out to those people, because that must take a lot of courage to be even able to come out in whatever trauma, whatever secret it
Right,
is that feels as though it's taking them their adulthood, and they're sitting in it and
right.
soaking in it. So shout out to those people that are willing to talk about it and willing to come out and do something about it, and not let that be a generational curse passing down to generations of their kids or children and so on.
Well, I agree. And so one of the things I think another reason why it's hard is because facing trauma and admitting it and speaking to it, it's hard to do. A lot of people are not ready to come to that position in their lives, and that's understandable. That's reasonable. But again, when you go back to previous episodes, in terms of insecurities, like I said, we do a good job in hiding and masking and basically compartmentalizing between the truth that we know
Yeah.
and the facade that we give off. So we hide that with being extra cool and jewelry, cars, etc. And so when you hear in our music or just in our culture, the numbers never lie. You hear phrases like that, expressions like that, the numbers never lie, which is colloquially saying, I have something that, a percentage of y'all don't have, or look at me. But I got some other numbers that don't lie,
Yeah.
that we never speak about.
What's that?
40 to 60% of Black women were sexually molested before the age of 18.
And that must be a
That
different type of
that
trauma.
number don't lie.
Yeah.
So slightly lower with Black men.
Right.
We talking 30 to 40% of Black men. So when you look around and you see these behaviors, and again, these micro aggressions and micro situations that blow up to become macro, you can see that there's some type of trauma or curse or some type of sin that they don't know how to deal with that
I'm glad you said that.
behavior.
Deal with that behavior, because like I just said a few minutes ago, shout out to the people that do go out and get help, because the people
Yeah.
that don't know how to deal with the behavior, they use, like, if you're in their world or in their life and you're cool, whether it's a sibling or a friend or something, sometimes people use that as a crutch, in terms of, you hear people say like, my mom was never there for me growing up.
Right.
Even in their 40s,
Mm.
they'll still use that same pain or those same excuses, let's say, the same
Right.
excuses, to why they can't get a job, why they can't do this, why they can't do that. And there's somebody somewhere that has that same type of trauma, and they take that pain and say, oh, hell no, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
breaking the generational curses. So that's
Yeah.
one thing you can't let it be. What's the word I'm looking for? You can't let it be
A burden, or you
a-
can't become a prisoner.
a prisoner to it. That's what I
Yeah.
want to say. You can't come a prisoner to it.
Yeah.
But people who had to deal with that
Right.
sexual assault, that's something I never had to go through.
Mm.
But to the people that did have to go through that trauma,
Mm.
it's really important that, whether I don't know what it may look like for them, therapy, talking to someone close and personal to them, because you're going to have to get that out some way, somehow, because then it shows up in your life. And it can break off good relationships, or however you deal with it, and be that person prisoner to it. It can ruin relationships. It could do a bunch of things
Yeah.
if you don't deal with that trauma.
You said something, and you're basically saying that turning that pain into purpose. But again, it's important to know the numbers. Like, we talk about the numbers when it comes to our jewelry, our purses, our sneakers, cars. We talk about the numbers when we're taking pictures of our expensive dinners. But the numbers are the numbers. So you take a group of 10 friends, 6 of y'all have similar experiences, but before you did age 18, a family member, an uncle, a close friend, etc., did something inappropriate.
Violated you,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so again, we're taught to compartmentalize that and keep on pushing. Don't speak about that. Auntie done been through it. Granny done been through it. Great grandma done been through it. Uncles done. So we pass that thing down in our behavior, and we are dysfunctional. And you see that dysfunction, and it turns into alcohol abuse
Showing up,
again. It
yep,
shows
in
up
your
in the way
life.
we eat, in the way we treat each other, interact, in all this rage and anger. All of these things that's plaguing us are tied back to us suppressing these sins, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak,
Yes.
and that diminishing our family. So at some point, if you're that individual, your bloodline, your lineage is waiting for you to speak that truth to power,
Yeah.
break that sin,
Sure.
and protect generations going forward.
I agree.
You know,
Because someone that's being a prisoner to that, imagine how that's deep depression, how they live.
yeah, man.
And it could have been the cool dude growing up back in the day that you look at them like,
Right.
oh, they're so cool, they're so this. And now it's showing up in their life as an adult. And they're talking about they don't know how to live, they don't know how to survive. And it's like, you got to go get some type of form of help. You can't be a prisoner to it because that will eat you alive.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I just think that you have to be brave enough. You have to come into that on your own.
You do.
It's
Because
a
we're
person.
taught, we're
Go
taught,
ahead.
but back in the day, we're taught to don't say nothing.
Yeah,
Shut up.
that's
So you silence the little 8-year-old that's getting molested and is showing up in their adulthood in that trauma. You're silencing them because they don't know what to do with it. Because back in the day, it's you don't tell the family business. You don't tell the
yeah,
secrets. Just don't leave the household. You hear people saying that in their household they couldn't tell certain things. Or
yes,
imagine the grandparents and the aunties and uncles that took stuff to the grave.
yeah. I mean,
The secrets that we don't know that was never unleashed.
yeah, it's
So it's a
unfortunate.
lot. It's a lot.
Denial is one of our biggest detractors. We tend to deny. There's an old ancient African spiritual. The country known as Sudan now
Yeah.
was once known as Kush in Nubia. But if you trace that history way back then, basically, when you see it, you see it. That's what I'm speaking about. When you see it, you can see it. Some of us actually have that gift, those special glasses that you can see what you're seeing. And the fact that, again, because we're so good at denying and hiding,
Yep.
the vast majority of us gives the rest of the vast majority that excuse that somehow you're crazy for recognizing what you're seeing. So to tie it back to my original point, when you see it, I'll give you an example. And again, I hope no one takes this personally. But when you're scrolling up and down your timeline and you see, mothers and aunties partying with the 18 and 19-year-olds, and they're all drinking and smoking and having that good old time, in that moment, the vibes, you're turning up, it feels good. You could be creating an alcoholic. You could be creating a person who can't have upward mobility or forward mobility with their lives because they're addicted to substances. It could be a gateway to other things. You're not even looking
Realizing
at how
that
you're creating a generational sin just because that mother is living vicariously through that
through
child,
their child.
and
Yeah.
that mother or that father, they're soothing and suppressing their hurt and trauma. And it's just you. So when you see it, you can see it. But the vast majority of them make them feel like, yo, we're just partying on a Saturday night. We're just having a good time. It's ladies' night.
Yeah.
No, some of us can see what this is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And yeah, culture based too. People will say,
Yeah.
we do it in our culture. We do it
Yeah.
in breaking that.
That's why I said
curse,
earlier,
breaking it.
captivity starts to turn into culture.
Yes.
That was a
intertwined.
captivity. Now it looks like it's a culture. We're 4 or 5 generations removed from the original sin. It's our culture now.
Yeah.
It's how we do it now.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean?
Because you have people that their family been through that.
Absolutely.
Alcoholics, addiction.
Yeah.
And they say, you know what? I'm not even touching a drink.
Right.
But then you have the ones that touch the drink, turn into alcoholics.
Right.
And, crack addicts, unfortunately. So it's all about you have to really take a look and deal with that type of stuff so you don't become a prisoner to this.
And I just thought of something, not to interrupt you, when
Yeah.
you asked me what did I do. Deciding to get sober.
Yeah.
Deciding to get sober. Deciding to stop drinking.
Cheers to that, because how many months is it now?
9.
9 months, damn, almost
Yeah.
a year already.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to that. And
Eh,
the thing about you, and
Yeah.
that's another thing, it might shock, like, I don't even drink like that.
Right.
But with you really didn't drink every day. You
Right.
wasn't
Right.
that you work all day, all week.
Right.
On the weekends, you was that type of drinker, but
Mhm.
because you just didn't like the way it felt and how
Right.
it looked and certain things, whatever you may had
Absolutely.
played in you drink into you drinking.
Right.
Shout out to you for just acknowledging that and saying, I don't even want to do it at all.
Yeah.
And stepping away
And I
from
was
that.
able to share that with my children, and so that can plant that seed
Yes.
that you can overcome, or you don't even have to start it. And again, I never wanted to be a parent that facilitates that. I
Right.
always wanted to be the parent that, whatever my children come into on their own, because of my experiences, I can help them navigate that.
Yep.
But I don't want to facilitate that.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
want
here,
to.
come
Yeah,
drink with. And I can
I'm
say
not
we
doing
did,
it.
by the grace of God, with our 22-year-old son
Right.
anyway. Shai was
Yeah.
only going on 12, but we did a great job with that. And
Um,
again, mother and father first, friends second.
yeah,
That's how we're gonna play out with your children anyway.
for sure.
But in that, like we just now spoke about. So yeah, shout out to that.
Mhm.
And with me, it's so funny because when I was younger,
Hmm.
way before I was even able to drink at the drinking age,
Hmm.
I dipped and dabbed with hard liquor.
Yeah.
And as I became an adult, I'm like, oh, I don't even really mess with hard liquor like that anymore.
Right.
So, and then again, it made me look at certain characters in my life.
Mhm.
My dad, he was addicted to drugs. So
Yeah.
that's something I always said growing up, that I don't even want to think about doing any type of
Right.
drug, because I had to live through that with my dad, seeing him high, seeing him wanting to really be there for his kids, but the addiction taking over.
Right.
So he couldn't. So
Yeah.
that's a hell of a drug. So I just want to say I'm blessed to be able to look at that too and be strong enough to say, nah, that's not for me.
For sure.
But the ones that are dealing with the trauma, because we all have some type of trauma
Yeah.
that follows us along our adulthood, definitely please try to work through that, because you'll never be able to break that curse, the generational curse, if you don't start somewhere and talk about it, get therapy, and just try to break it.
Yeah.
Um,
Just speak the truth to power. That's it. Man.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't hide, don't have no.
And be willing, and because again it varies. This is a lot of different behaviors, but be willing to give room for forgiveness. You can forgive
Oh yeah,
yourself.
definitely.
You can forgive folks who transgressed against you.
And
And
sometimes forgiving just might look like not talking to that person, but in your heart, make peace with yourself in your heart.
right,
Because people always say, "Oh, forgiveness," but I don't want to talk to such and such uncle, such and such that molested me or touched me.
yeah,
You don't got to talk back to that uncle.
yeah.
That forgiveness can be within yourself.
Mm,
God will set that in your heart, that spiritual connection for you to be able to forgive. That way, because being hurt, that's another thing. That's misery. Like walking around with that hurt and that anger. So it is kind of easier to forgive that way. You're at peace with yourself, your mind, your body, your soul, and you just might have to love Uncle so and so, whoever
from
that did that
yeah,
from afar, and that's what forgiveness might look like. Cutting off the ties with that person, but just in your heart, you're forgiving them for
yeah,
doing whatever they did. Because sometimes, that saying from way back in the day,
mm,
that happened to him, which happened to that person that did it, which happened to that person.
generation.
So they don't be like
right,
they know what they know.
right.
So it's a whole lot that we can go on and on about this stuff, but just to keep it straight to the point,
Yeah,
it is that trauma will follow you if you don't break it.
yeah. You have to be willing to be the crusader, be the Renaissance person in that family to break that, along that bloodline. Your ancestors are waiting for you, and the future generations definitely waiting for that sin to be broken.
And I don't know why, before we're ending,
Yeah.
but this is on my heart.
Sure.
My head be all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's
I
all
be
good.
thinking about stuff.
Mhm.
But I had somebody, a family member, come to me and be like, "Be careful what you say on your podcast and when you're talking." So a lot of the stuff that we talk about,
Mm,
these are life experiences from Jermaine and I.
mm,
This is stuff that we went through. I'm not even thinking about what family member went through it, what such and such went through it. We're talking from our perspectives.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not worrying about all that extra stuff. So when I talk right here, It's about something that either went on in my situation, Jermaine's situation, or
Mm.
stuff that we see all over the place. But it's nothing personal for me to take somebody's information and put it on the podcast. Hell no, I'm not with all that. It's basically stuff that we're going through around and just being straight up in how we see it, our perspective.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it the way I see it, or you might obviously agree and see it the way I see it. But we're all different. So it's all about our own perspectives, our own opinions, and how we view things. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, for sure. And again, just to piggyback on what she's saying, it's anecdotal, right? It's one. This is one way to deal. There's a myriad of ways to deal with these issues and topics. This is just a way
Mm-hmm.
to deal with it. Just giving you a little anecdotal piece from my perspective, like you said, and but I think because we apply it in real time in our relationship, in our
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Yeah.
we are seeing some positive results, and
Oh,
that's where we're
heck
able to
yes.
share
That's
that.
why I
Say,
said
hey, listen,
you always get mixed
this might
feedback
be.
with everything in life. I mean, you can't be afraid to do anything. Do it. People gonna talk about you whether you're doing it, you're not doing it. Who cares? And the ones that are gonna rock with you and give you the feedback,
Right.
participate, and do all that with you, those are the ones that you need to weigh. But those are your people.
Mhm.
Not everybody's for you, and that we're okay with that. So back to the breaking generational curses.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm gonna end by saying, don't be a prisoner. Don't let it
Word.
make you a prisoner to your trauma.
Get off that porch.
Yes.
Word.
And we're all going through something. Don't feel like you're alone. And please talk and work it out.
Just truth to power.
Truth to power, and that's
Word.
it. I don't really have nothing else. I think we
Yeah, for sure.
covered everything. Until next time, guys, thanks again and have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Peace.
peace.